If you want to score, then you need to stay tuned to this morning's guest. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Franklin G. Burroughs Simeon B. Chapin Art Museum at 3100 South Ocean Boulevard. We're focused on SCORE, Counselors to America's Small Business, and we're visiting with one of its counselors, Harold Swanner. Good morning, Harold.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you so much for coming in early on a Wednesday morning. What about this Myrtle Beach Art Museum?
It is beautiful.
It is amazing, and this room is gorgeous. Some of these pieces, I know viewers can't really get right in on them, particularly some of these right over us, but it is a magnificent museum.
I think many people are surprised at the quality of art, of Brook Green Garden and various other things that we have in this community.
Absolutely, both in Horry and Georgetown. And for our viewers in the PD and southeastern North Carolina, they need to just get on down here, cruise down Ocean Boulevard, and show up right here at Springmaid Beach, a little north of Myrtle Beach State Park, and check out this art museum.
And find out what great things we have here.
Absolutely. Along with SCORE, that's really doing a lot. I think I saw that the Grand Strand chapter was voted the best chapter of the 6 chapters in the state of South Carolina just last year.
No, that just this month.
This month. Fantastic.
So,
wow.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
We've been working hard to improve our chapter.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You know, and of course, y'all make an impact on a pretty sizable area, Harold. What area does this chapter of SCORE cover?
We have 6 chapters, although we realistically do about 2, do a good job in 2 chapters, or Georgetown.
These 2 counties, Horry and Georgetown County, absolutely. Right. And of course, your office is there, very easy to find, the main office right in the heart of Myrtle Beach.
Yes, and we have a satellite office in the Chamber of Commerce in Georgetown.
I did not know that. That's wonderful. It's important to be able to make it. These are such big counties. Geographically, got the largest county in the state and the 4th largest county in the state right next to each other, so you'd have to have some kind of presence down there. What exactly is SCORE?
SCORE is a group of volunteers that started out retired executives, retired. However, we do have counselors that are actively involved in business today. They do not have to be retired in order to be a SCORE counselor. And we're willing to counsel free to any existing business and or startup business. Okay. This is all free, no charge for our time.
What kind of counseling do you all provide? I mean, is it practical? Is this everyday stuff that small businesses, and do you deal with large businesses at all?
Well, again, if SBA declare a business under 500 people as small business.
Which should be a heck of a lot of business in Horry and Georgetown.
We qualify for most of the businesses here in Horry, Georgetown. Horry and Georgetown County. Right.
You know, later this week on Friday, Santi Jimenkonkel with Santino's Pizza, and I think big into real estate, is going to be with us. And somebody, when we think about small business, of course, later this week on Friday, we'll talk to them about growing a small business. But there are lots of startup businesses in this area. Are there certain things they need to be doing to make sure they can stay in business, Harold?
Many things they need to be doing, Greg. First, as Santi has done, is talk about a business plan. Where SCORE is very big on getting people sit down and get a business plan. Many of the startup business have to do a business plan and see it does not work on paper, save their money, and not go into business. That's one. The ones that does go into business have a lot better chance of surviving because they do have a plan to go into it, and most of the time the plan will work.
Well, that's a very good point. So a lot of folks, sometimes they'll actually do the business plan and then figure out, golly, this is not going to fly.
Oh, yes.
Let's save our cash. Because, of course, you put a lot into it, it could be just blown.
Yes. When I was doing business brokerage, I've seen many businesses that would think if they had enough cash to get the doors open, the first day there they'd get rich.
Right.
And 3 days, a week later, they'd be closing the doors up that quickly.
It is terrible. I mean, that's a scary thought. But at the same time, you know, a lot of folks, they really feel that exactly what you said, that if we open the doors, it's going to happen.
Go happen. So where scores sit down, help them work out a business plan, and when you see it on paper, if it doesn't work on paper, rarely will it ever work in reality.
Right. Let's say a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school. Is there a good phone number? Is it the 918-1079? Is that the best number to call?
That's the best number for SCORE.
Okay, and there's a website also.
Yes, mbscore.org.
mbscore.org. Very easy to find. Of course, this chapter 381 covering a large area, but surely the impact on Horry and Georgetown County for our viewers. Pick up the phone, 843-918-1079, or go to mbscore.org. You know, of course, there's a lot of great, and you mentioned the Small Business Administration. The SBA is very supportive of SCORE and really helped, I think, found it. Is that right?
Yes, they founded the SCORE group.
Okay.
And they still support us in a great way. We get about $1,500 a year to operate an office on.
Is that right? That's all y'all need?
No, that's all we get from SCORE.
Oh, that's all you get. Yeah, they helped you get started. But they know that. Now, y'all are all volunteers, though, right?
We're volunteers, but we still have a secretary 3 mornings a week that we have to pay. We still have expenses to telephones and other supplies that we have to pay for.
Sure.
So we have to be somewhat of an entrepreneur-type business ourselves in order to survive.
So folks can actually pick up the phone and call to even make a donation or go online.
Well, we would appreciate that very much.
That's very important. And obviously the impact that you can have, I mean, the worst thing that can happen, a small business starts and then has to close their doors. So the impact that you can have on really keeping dollars whole and making sure that folks can get business started properly, it's good for the entire community.
Very much so. Probably all the government programs that are out there, with the few dollars they give us, SCORE got the best return on investment of any program they have.
Right. Speaking of returns on investment, of course, you've been involved in seeing businesses both purchased and sold in the county, as well as growing your own small business. Share with viewers about what got you to Horry County and what's kept you here.
What got me to Horry County was sunshine, and what's kept me here has been sunshine.
And it's been a few years, Harold.
22 years. We have poor people in every county in the world. We have rich people in every county, so the location has no bearing on where you can make a living or not.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
It's what you're willing to sacrifice and do determine how well you do in business.
You really have to sacrifice a lot?
Sometimes, yes. The problem is with small business, and I think you realize it being in business, you may not work that hard, but the business is with you 24/7.
Right.
Whether you're at work or not, it's always on your mind.
Mm-hmm. As a small business owner.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and oftentimes even for folks who work in that small business, they're thinking about it.
Too.
But surely when you're responsible for the debt associated with the business and trying to make sure that banks oftentimes are happy, or small business administrations, folks who provide loans for startup business, it's you're right. That's a very good point.
When you're got heavy debt service and not too many customers, it's a very stressful time.
Right. Of course, aside from helping to buy and sell businesses and move them, you've also grown your own business over the last decade or so.
I've been in several different businesses for the last 37 years.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the tips that, and of course we'll talk to Santi later this week about growing a small business, but what are some of the tips that you'd share, some of the free advice that you help provide? I know we can't encapsulate them right here in a 25, 30-minute interview on a Wednesday morning, but what are some tips that folks really need to think about as they're sitting here listening right now?
Probably number one is planning. Number two, realize that they're not the boss anymore. The customers become the boss. So you need to offer a program that fits the customer need more than something you would like to give them.
Right.
Many of the businesses I've seen fail, the owner has a concept of what he thinks people will like. And when he opens his business, he finds out that people doesn't like his concept as well as he did.
Right.
So you need to offer public something which they will need. The secret to it is really doing your research and find a niche that is not being well serviced.
Right.
It's very difficult for a small business to sit down next to Walmart and compete with the same merchandise that Walmart has.
Right.
However, setting Walmart offering a service that Walmart does not offer may be good business.
Absolutely, just from that walk-by traffic
Right.
that comes by there. And you see oftentimes those in a Walmart, in a strip center there, whatever is in there. And even sometimes you'll see some folks who do some level of competing, but oftentimes it's folks that are stark opposite business, and they thrive.
And again, many times you want in the off track where limited competition is.
Right.
I like the Walmart approach in that when they first started, they went into all the small towns that no other big box store would go into,
Right.
and had several thousand locations before they went into the big cities.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Santi is a good example of that. If you look at his restaurants, every one of them are in small locations that don't draw the big Pizza Huts and the Domino's and this type of operation. Your competition is less. The people are more appreciative of you being there, and it is much easier. Your rent is normally cheaper in a place like Loris than it is on Business 17.
Right.
So your operating cost is better, competition is less, and the people are more appreciative.
And they really get into support your business and get to know you, who you are, and
right.
your family even.
Yes.
Right.
And I've seen too many people want in the most expensive corner on the 17, big rent, big flashy signs, and before they have customers to support them.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a very good point. That old idea of niche and grow rich.
Yeah.
Niche and grow rich. Find that niche. Really wrap around it. And now for you, Harold, are there certain techniques now? Oftentimes, for instance, we'll hear folks talking about you've got to write goals down and put them down, and that may be stuff that the SCORE councils will be providing to people, but on their own. Are there certain techniques that you have to live by in your own life, in your business life?
Well, again, everybody needs a business plan.
Right, right.
It is mandatory if you go to borrow money that you have a long, drawn-out business plan.
Oh, yeah.
I view my business more as a concept, vision.
You mean your own business?
Own vision.
Yeah.
I have a vision of where I want it to go.
Right.
And the vision is a little different than a business plan because I know what I want to go, know what I'm doing. The difference is I don't know how to get there. So once I know where I'm going, I start looking for ways in which to get where I want to be at.
Right, right.
Whereas the business plan is I try to have the vision and too often write down the steps of getting there. And once I'm so busy following my plan, I may miss the opportunity that sitting beside of me becomes too focused on my other plan.
Right, right. That's a great point.
So, but yet you do need major planning. You don't. It cannot happen without good planning.
Speaking of that, you all have been planning recently, I think, to create a more advanced advisory board and working on an advisory board formation there. How's that gone, Harold?
That's going extremely well. I'll give you a little more background on it, Greg.
Please.
Is that we started 2 years ago developing an educational program in addition to a free consulting. We have what we call the SCORE U. We have about, I think, 9 or 10 courses now that we offer to small businesses. There's a one group, a 7-course series from beginning to all the way through financing, marketing, financial planning, and the whole group that they can take as a series. And we have other standalone groups. We've had that running for 2 years, working extremely well in partnership with Orange Georgetown Technical College.
Right, right.
So before you start expanding, you need a good solid base to work from.